Welcome to our channel. Today we're diving into the fascinating world of English idioms. These quirky phrases like kick the bucket or raining cats and dogs add colour and nuance to our language, but they can also be super confusing if you're not familiar with their origins. Ever wondered where these sayings come from? Why we talk about spilling beans or costing an arm and a leg? Let's find out. Our first idiom takes us back to the high seas and the legendary Admiral Horatio Nelson, a hero of the British Navy. You might know Nelson for his incredible naval victories, but you might also know him for, well, being blind in one eye. See, during the Battle of Copenhagen, Nelson was given a signal to stop attacking. Did he want to stop attacking? Nope. So he held his telescope up to his blind eye and claimed he couldn't see the order. Thus, to turn a blind eye came to mean to willfully ignore something, even if it's right there in front of you. Next time you're feeling a little sick, you can tell people you're feeling under the weather and they'll probably just assume you've been watching too many weather reports. But this idiom actually has nautical roots. Back in the 18th century, when sailing was still a primary mode of transportation, sailors who got seasick, and trust me, that was a lot of sailors, would often be sent below deck during rough weather. Why? Well, being below deck offered some protection from the rocking and rolling of the ship, hopefully giving the poor sailors a chance to recover. Let's be honest, we've all been in situations where we didn't want to give a straight answer. Maybe we were trying to avoid hurting someone's feelings, or maybe we just didn't want to deal with the consequences of telling the truth. Whatever the reason, we were beating around the bush. This idiom takes us back to the days of game hunting in Britain. Hunters would literally hire people to beat on bushes, scaring birds and small animals out into the open where they were easier to, well, catch. Secrets. Those juicy bits of information we swear we'll take to the grave. But then someone spills the beans. This idiom, meaning to reveal a secret, takes us all the way back to ancient Greece. Back then, they didn't have fancy electronic voting machines or even paper ballots. Instead, they used beans. Different colored beans represented different votes. And if you accidentally, or maybe not so accidentally, knocked over the container holding those beans, well, you spilled the beans, literally and figuratively, revealing the outcome of the vote before everyone was supposed to know. Some decisions are tough, requiring careful consideration and weighing of options. And then there are those decisions that are, well, no-brainers. This idiom, meaning something so obvious it requires little thought, is a relatively recent addition to the English language, popping up in the mid-20th century. One of its earliest appearances was in a 1959 newspaper article about Get This Hockey. The article described an obvious play as a no-brainer, and the phrase quickly caught on. Ever feel like you're talking to a brick wall, like your words are just bouncing off an impenetrable surface of indifference? Well, that's the perfect time to use the idiom "save your breath." This phrase, dating back to the 17th century, emphasizes the futility of speech in certain situations. It's like saying, don't waste your energy on words that won't make a difference. When things are balanced, when everyone gets their fair share, we say it's even Steven. This idiom, with its emphasis on fairness and equality, can be traced back to the 18th century and the satirical writer Jonathan Swift. Swift, known for his sharp wit and social commentary, used even Stephen in his writings to describe situations where justice prevailed and everyone got what they deserved. Holding on to grudges is like carrying around a bag of rocks, heavy, burdensome, and ultimately not very good for you. That's where the idiom "let bygones be bygones" comes in. This phrase, with its roots in Middle English, encourages us to forgive past offences and move forward. The word bygone itself comes from the Middle English word begone, meaning gone by or past. We've all met someone who seems to talk a big game but doesn't really know what they're talking about. They're talking through their hat. This idiom, a colourful way of saying someone is speaking nonsense or making unfounded claims, emerged in American slang in the late 19th century. While the exact origin is debated, it's thought to be related to the idea of pulling rabbits out of hats, a magical feat that's all illusion and no substance. Chapter 10: Fat Cats, Wealth, Power and Perceptions of Greed. The fat cat, a term often used to describe wealthy and powerful individuals, especially those perceived as greedy or out of touch. This idiom first appeared in the 1920s during political campaigns in the United States. Back then, fat cats were wealthy donors who contributed large sums of money to political campaigns, often in exchange for influence or favors. Chapter 11: Black Sheep, Outcasts and Undesirable Wool. In a flock of white sheep, a black sheep stands out. This visual distinction is at the heart of the idiom black sheep, used to describe someone considered an outcast or disgrace within a group. The origin of this idiom lies in sheep farming. Black wool was less desirable than white wool, as it couldn't be dyed as easily. As a result, black sheep were often seen as less valuable, even unlucky. Chapter 12: Painting the Town Red. A drunken spree and a colourful idiom. Ready to go out and have a wild time, to celebrate with unrestrained enthusiasm? Then you're ready to paint the town red. This idiom, meaning to go out and have an extravagant, often boisterous, good time, likely originated from a real-life event. In 1837, a group of friends in Melton Mowbray, England, went on a legendary drunken spree, literally painting parts of the town red with paint they had stolen. Outro: Keep the language love flowing. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed learning about these idioms, don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more fascinating insights into the English language. Language is constantly evolving, with new words and phrases popping up all the time. But idioms, with their quirky origins and often bizarre imagery, offer a glimpse into the past, reflecting the history, culture and even the anxieties of those who came before us. See you next time.